Ian. I've been with Delta Airlines for about 8 years. I work in revenue management development. So today I'm going to talk about a tool that I have developed. So I don't know if you have checked out the Flight Museum. If you have not, I would highly recommend you check it out afterwards. We've got quite a few very good airline collectibles, even with airplanes, so definitely check it out afterwards. So let me get my dashboard to the By the way, my native language is not English, so if I start to talk about things that don't make sense, so my priority today is to make sure everybody enjoys today's meeting. So if you're sitting at a place where you can see me or hear me clearly, please let us know, and we'll be happy to find you another seat. And also, please make sure the aisles and exits are clear. As I prepare to begin, please sit back, relax, and enjoy today's presentation. So as you probably already know, as Delta employees, we get very exceptional benefit for the hard work that we do. That means we get to fly to anywhere we want to, or anywhere Delta flies to, free of charge as many times as we want to. This means for this coming weekend, you could be flying to New York for a concert, or to Coachella in California, or having a nice Argentinian steak dinner in Buenos Aires, as long as there's a flight that is open for you. However, we do fly on a standby basis. That means the flight has to be open, and otherwise we have to wait for the next flight or change our plan. So you always want to make sure you know what your options are when you travel. So to solve this first world problem, I've created the standby monitoring tool. And also, we've also embedded carbon emission numbers with the tool, just so employees know the kind of impact they're making to the environment. So you're looking at the tool right now. Maximize it. Okay, I know for people sitting in the back, you may not be able to see it, so I'll try to zoom in as I talk through the dashboard. Here. There are two sections on the dashboard, left and right. The left part functions kind of like your online travel website. You can type in your trip type, whether it's one-way or round trip, where you're coming from, where you're going to. And you don't have to tell it where you're going to, it'll give you all the options out there. Your departure date, return date, which part of the world you want to go to. On the right, it kind of gives you some kind of statistics on, how many trips you've made, what kind of a potential value this has if you were to buy plane tickets, and so on. I'll be talking about this in details. So I've got an example on the screen right now. Let's say I wanted to go to Europe over the weekend, and it's Thursday right now. I know I want to leave Friday after work, and as you can see, I put round trip here, and I know I'm going to be leaving from Atlanta or New York. Because, if flights in Atlanta don't look good, I can always hop on a flight to go to New York. And I'm leaving tomorrow, coming back Sunday, because I got to go to work on Monday. And I can look at all flights Delta operates, or I can look at just domestic flights, Europe, Latin America, or Asia. In this case, I'm using Europe or Atlantic. And here, it lists out every single flight that Delta operates tomorrow to Europe. This is actually AMEA, so Europe, Africa, and Middle East. By default, it's sorting by departure time. And I can have it sorted by most available flight, or even most available flight with business cabin, because if it's open, I get to city business. So I'm going to do that. And I'm on Wi-Fi connection, so if it takes a little bit longer time, please bear with me. Okay, it worked. So let me zoom in a little bit. So it looks like tomorrow, and notice the numbers on the left, that's front cabin. Coach is coach cabin, obviously. If I want to go to first one is in Africa, so I may not want to go to Africa over the weekend, it's kind of far, but second one is Reykjavik, so I can be going to Iceland for the weekend and come back. There's still 15 seats available up front. And as I look down, there's Lagos, also in Africa, so I might skip that one. I could go to Barcelona, Rome, Nice, Heathrow, etc. So it really gives the employee the option to look for different destinations to travel to. And on the bottom, you have your return plan on Sunday. And it also shows the flights in the same fashion. And it looks like Iceland is a very good pick because both outbound and inbound flights are open. Right? And we also have a map on the bottom. It kind of visualizes all different destinations that we fly to in Europe. And there's also another visualization with lines, kind of the traditional view to show you, from Atlanta, New York, where we can go to. And this is the path function in Tableau. All right, so I'm going to very quickly show us another example. Always happens when you're presenting. Refresh. So what I just did is I put in LAX in the destination field. So right now it is giving me all possible ways to fly from Atlanta or New York to LA over the weekend. Because a lot of times the non-stop flights might be full. For some reasons the non-stop flights are not showing up. But the connecting part gives you all possible connections to LA over any kind of a station that you can think of that we fly to. So if all domestic options are full, chances are you can fly to Cabo San Lucas in Mexico and then fly to LA, as long as those flights are open. Anyway, I'm gonna move to the bottom of it. So here, using the map function Tableau, it'll also render all different ways to go to LA from Atlanta via different connections here. Good point. It's those parameters. So if I change to all, it should show up right now. There we go. Very good catch, Andy. So those are all different non-stop options from Atlanta or New York to LA, and here are the connecting options. And on the right, so if for whatever reasons all of Delta flights are full, all the Delta options are exhausted, I can also get a discount ticket on other airlines from those airlines going to LA. So they're all listed in this section. All right, at the end I want to talk about the non-rev dashboard, where it'll, and this is me, there's a username pass-through, so you can only look at your number but not others. So right now it's looking at my numbers. It says, since 2013 I've made 282 flights, which is about 500,000 miles, 21.8 times around the Earth, and 2.3 times to the moon. And this is worth $50,000, so I've saved $50,000 since I joined the company. And I can become $1 million in about 5 years. It'll also allow me to look at my non-rev trips or standby trips in terms of number of trips or the total value, because you could be flying a lot of short-haul trips that don't have a lot of value, or you could be flying, transoceanic trips every day. It'll also allow you to compare your performance with other people in your team, in your department, and the whole company. So there are I'm actually number 1 on my team. I'm number 9 in revenue management and 83 at Delta. in terms of number of trips. And I do slightly better in value because I do fly to a lot of trips to Asia, so that helped me a little bit. There's also a comparison by different departments at Delta. Average trips per person. So the big red widget is revenue management. It's big on red because I work in revenue management. The size doesn't mean anything, it just means I work bigger. If you look underneath it, it's actually a box plot. That shows the Delta average here, which is about 12 trips per person per year. And most departments are around that, first and third quintile, but we're definitely leading. You can also look at top destinations for standby travels by employees by different entity, domestic, Latin, Europe, or Trans-Pacific. That's all I have. Do you have any questions? Sorry, there's one thing I forgot to mention. You can also look at your total carbon emission in terms of how many tons of CO2 that has been produced from your trips, and how much money it would take to offset that amount. And if you want to get more information, you can actually click on this link here. And if my Wi-Fi is working, it should take you to our official Delta carbon emission calculation page for you to get some more details. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions? So there are 9 data sources in the back end. 4 extracts and 5 live connections leveraging Teradata. So everything I do here is a live connection being passed into Teradata. Because if you think about connecting flights, your combination is infinite if you don't tell the data where the destination is. So there's no way to do it with an extract. It has to be on a live connection. Yes?
So you said you use Teradata, is it more SQL-based? Because are you doing any transformation of the rows or columns? Because when you do paths, you have to have it 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, when you look at it in the actual Tableau.
Yeah, so all the data transformation along with, so there are about, I would say, 7 parameters being passed through the custom SQL at every refresh. So all that work is done in custom SQL. There's no upstream work being produced on the live connection part. But for the extracts, we use SAS to generate the data sets for Tableau. I think I'm running out of time. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to answer your questions.